Absolutely.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our, I'm sorry, I'm in January. I'm still in January, February 3rd, policy meeting. Dr. B. Coast, did you have anything that you want to say before I turn it over to Ms. Seward?
Just good evening, everyone. And Ms. Seward is leading us this evening. I'll turn it over to you, Danielle.
Well, thank you, Dr. B. Coates, and welcome everybody to our February Policy Committee meeting. It is my distinct pleasure to share this PowerPoint with you. In one quick second. Oh, there it is. All righty. So let's start the show. All righty. So welcome again. On today's agenda, we will be discussing policies 102, academic standards, 103, Title Title Discrimination, Title 9, sexual harassment affecting staff and students, which will be led by Ms. Tyra Brown, and policy 104, non-discrimination of employee in employment, school and classroom practices, with Ms. Katie Schlesinger. So, and then followed by discussion and adjournment. So again, I always like to ground our meetings in our purpose and why are we doing this, and to keep us focused on our mission, which is to align our current policies with our district needs, understanding the intent and purpose of the policies, and support the district's efforts to support our strategic plan. So policies 102, 103, and 104 have been quite the adventure to update with my colleagues. I would like to note that our solicitor, Mr. David Kahn, was very much involved in this process and guiding us, particularly with policies 103 and 104. And so I'm just going to give an overview of the changes. PSBA did provide us with an updated Title IX policy, and it came in the form of two policies, one for students and one for staff. His advice to us was to make it our new 103 policy and to make our non-discrimination policy, which also had a student and staff, so it's two of them, into one. So that's why we are presenting to you policy 103, which is Title IX focused, and policy 104, which is non-discrimination focused. So I just wanted to give you that overview just so you had a chance to understand that. So we'll start with policy 102, academic standards. And Ms. Brown, you have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. Here you will see the policy for academic standards as per the recommendations. The recommendations that we're making are in blue. The items that are in red have been striked out. We have aligned our definition of academic standards to the strategic plan and our goals through our mission and our vision for the William Penn School District for scholars to have academic success. So here's the clear definition that we're proposing. You will also see the authority. The board shall approve the academic standards. In the following areas, you will see that we've included the Pennsylvania core standards and items that are aligned to content, and we rearranged some of the wording.
Ms. Brown, hold on just a minute. Ms. Seward, can you enlarge that? For my old eyes, I can't see that.
Is that a little better?
Thank you. I apologize. Go ahead, Ms. Brown.
So I was actually at the end for our review and edits. Basic minor edits and tweaking basically is adding Pennsylvania core standards wording to the items that are in 1 through 9 according to the authority. We adjusted the definition for academic standards so that it's further aligned to the strategic plan and the mission and the vision of the William Penn School District for student success.
Are there any questions or suggested edits, feedback from our committee members? No? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to move forward to 103. Again, you'll see there's a lot of blue here because it adds in that Title IX language. and Katie also would probably be able to speak to this again a little bit more because she was very intimately involved with this policy with David Kahn as well. Is there any feedback, anything you'd like to highlight? No?
Just for the board's edification, it speaks of a Title IX coordinator in the document. Can you just share with them who that individual is so that they will know?
I would be very happy to do that. And actually, it's oddly situated at the bottom. So at the bottom, this little section here, delegation of responsibility, is where they give you the section to speak to who is the Title IX coordinator and who is the compliance officer. And actually, I'm perfectly willing to pull this up if you all agree that it should be, closer to the top. But the Title IX coordinator is myself, Danielle Seward, the Executive Director of Student Services, and the compliance officers for this policy, since it deals with students and staff. For student-related concerns would be the Assistant Superintendent of Academic Services, and for staff would be the Executive Director for Human Resources.
And I don't think it needs to be moved up because just like any presentations that is done or documentations that is done, most of your contact information is done at the end. So I think it's fine where it is. Just as long, again, as long as we're identifying who it is in the document. I mean, you and I know that because of our discussion, but just to make sure that the average Joe P. public would know, when they read the document, who they're reaching out to.
Would ordinarily a policy name names?
Well, the only reason why we weren't naming names and we're using titles is because naming names dates the policy. And I'm go ahead.
No, that's my mistake, because I'm just catching up to you in the Google Doc.
Oh,
And I thought you said it's me and it's listed, so I misunderstood. My
I'm sorry, that's my fault. I referred to myself, but we put my title in, so we weren't going to be dating the policy and just.
Yep.
refer to the title.
Yeah.
And another thing is the email. Even though it's you, I think we should have a separate email listing, like, I don't know what we want to call it, Title IX,
Yeah, that would be great.
whatever, however, you decided, that email should be, but there should be a designated email, I think.
Mhm.
It's a good suggestion. I also agree with that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And then
Just
somehow
be
get
sure it
get
doesn't
an
need to
immediate
be a box.
notification if it comes through. I know there are times when you can do an immediate notification from a certain email. I don't know how that works with the district email.
Yes, we can do that. Yeah, if they send it to a regular, public email address, it will ping certain people in their work email address. So we can do that. I love that suggestion. Okay.
What was you saying, Ms. Hoff? I missed what you said.
It just doesn't even need to be a box. It just needs to be a forward that goes to her, right? That just allows some, some ease of use, but we don't have to change it. If Miss Seward got married or something like that.
Okay.
All right, that would be interesting. But yes, the point is well taken. Thank you. So any other suggestions? I love that idea of the general mailbox. Any other one? No? Okay, hearing none. I'm gonna go back to the presentation. I'm gonna hit 104.
Before you
And-
hit 104, Miss Katie, you're saying instead of making a whole brand new box, just put it in human resources?
yeah, for policy 104, and I was just sending that. So Janie, I can't make notes in the doc anymore. So Danielle had it. We have a
Oh.
human resources inbox already. So that's where That's where ours can go.
Understood.
All righty. And speaking of 104, I'm gonna run there now. Ms. Schlesinger,
All right.
you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Danielle. So the one change here, because we made 103 focused on Title IX, so sexual harassment, this policy is going to focus on non-discrimination in employment as well as in the school and classroom practices. So it applies to adults and to children. And if you scroll down, we didn't really make many changes. We just added in right where Danielle is, some language saying that this policy 104, is essentially for all harassment except for claims which we brought under Title IX. And if you,
I'm scrolling, sorry.
yep, you're good. There's really the only other shift I made is David just wanted to confirm that compliance officer wasn't just in this policy, which we just saw in that it's also in 103. So that would be the compliance officer for would be the ED of human resources. I made a note to remind myself we don't yet have a process for communicating this policy annually. So we can, or not that I'm aware of. So we can work to ensure that we do that. And I think I just had added a note there, Danielle, that we could add in specific resources that we have available for folks who are need assistance, like including our EAP number, et cetera, or perhaps just the link. And then the big change here was I just recommended that under the guideline, rather than including the complaint procedure, the complaint form, and the appeal procedure in the policy, I'm suggesting that we have a link to the complaint procedure, to the complaint form, and the appeal procedure. So Danielle, if you want to click on the procedure, we can open that up. And again, here, very minor changes, just added in to clarify that it was policy 104, named that the compliance officer is the executive director of human resources. I think we can add in the human resources email inbox as we discussed today. And this procedure just really outlines the reporting, the investigation report, and district action. So that's the procedure that we follow for any discrimination practices. And then the complaint form is, it's essentially exactly what we had before, just a little bit cleaner. And this is what the complainant would submit via the human resources inbox. They could fill it in digitally and send it electronically, or they could print it and handwrite it. And then we also have the appeal procedure, which is essentially if the complainant isn't satisfied with the finding, they can submit a written appeal to the compliance officer. And if I was the person, if I as the compliance officer had been the investigator, then it would go to the superintendent. So no major changes here. Did you have a question, Jennifer?
Just a super small thing.
Yeah.
The page numbers are flush left. Our style has been in the middle. The page numbers are in the middle of the page, just for consistency.
On which one?
I thought it was policy 102.
Okay,
And maybe 103. I don't know. I just noticed the page numbers to one side and went
I
back.
think 104 too.
Yeah, I just went back to my other multiple page policies and noticed it was in the middle.
thank you. I'm gonna make a note in writing on here.
Yeah,
Thanks, Danielle.
it's just a profession dilemma.
All righty. Is there any other feedback on the policies?
Just note everybody that the complaint form that is used, you may have seen it before. That's because we reviewed it back in August. Was that
Mhm.
August? I think it was August when PSBA sent documentations on discrimination. So, just in case you're looking at like, we've used this before. I've seen this before. That's why.
Mhm. So we're trying to be consistent, with our tools across
Absolutely.
various policies. Mhm.
Absolutely. Any questions, anyone?
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna thank you, Miss Seward, Miss Schlesinger, Miss Brown. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate the work you put into this. Um, um, so we will be presenting this at our community of the whole meeting as our first reading for the 102, 103, 104. Oh, wait a minute. There was some more stuff. I'm sorry. Was there more stuff? Did I
Oh,
mess
no,
up?
I just had what's happening it's the coming attraction slide.
Uh-huh.
We're the coming attraction
I'm
slide.
going ahead. I'm going ahead.
No, it's
Sorry.
okay. That
and
was just
then-
the coming attraction slide that say what the two policies we're going to review for the next meeting. That's all.
Okay, you can do that. You can do that one. And then the second reading at our business meeting for 100 and 101. You want to tell them about the next one? We're going to work on the next one.
Sure, it's two fun ones that my colleagues have been saying I've been hazing them on. Miss Brown's face there. Yes, there are two meaty policies. Policy 301.1, which is non-discrimination qualified students with disabilities. So at the next meeting, we will have Ms. Germano join us as well, who will be able to add context as our resident expert in students with disabilities, and along with Ms. Brown, of course. And 104.1, which is equal employment opportunity policy and affirmative action program, which Ms. Schlesinger has been poring over to align it with our district's goals, as well as to provide some structure with policies and with procedures.
Thank you.
The only thing-
Sorry, go ahead, Dr. Beacon.
No, I was just going to say, I'm just very, very thankful and pleased that these ladies have worked collaboratively together. Hopefully you can see the level of teamwork that is exhibited across departments. And so, that's something that we're really trying to be cognizant of. And so we will continue to do that type of work. So I just wanted to thank them publicly for their efforts. And I also want to just thank Ms. Seward, because I think she's outlined, and I believe this was shared with the board, the calendar / timeline that we're using for the year to go through all policies. Speaking of hazing, she's been doing it to all of us, because all of us have timelines that we must follow. So just thank you for that. And have we shared that with the board? Do you already
Actually, Joy has seen it, but it's a spreadsheet, and I'll be happy to share it.
I think we'll put it in a weekly update. I just think it would be helpful for board members to see the scope of the work.
Not a problem.
Thanks. That's it. I'm sorry, Ms. Hopkins.
I would also say I appreciate her remaining flexible, and y'all too, because I was supposed to present 104.1, but I told her I wasn't ready a little while ago. It's like, I need a little bit more time. Y'all gonna have to bear with me. And Miss Joy, I want you to know I'm not avoiding you. I just want to make sure I can be thorough. And
I was about to say, she's going to say I was hazing her too, but it's all good. It's all good, because I do know the work that you guys are doing, and nevertheless, you're taking the time, and again, like Dr. Biko says, we're working together, and that's what it is. And then your little saying on the side, teamwork makes the dream work. That's my saying too. So I want to bring one more thing before we leave this evening, and I have already approached Dr. Becoats with this idea, and I've already reached out to Jeff to get the contact information. I would like to bring our student reps, board reps in with us in the policy meetings, especially governing around the policies governing students, to get their feedback and get them to know more specifically the work that they do or they should be doing in our district. So I would love to invite them. I wanted to get some kind of feedback from everybody before I actually go and do the reach out, I wanted to get a team perspective. If it sounds good with everybody, if anybody has any reservations, also to let me know. Thumbs up?
So we might even want to be flexible enough to say if they can't make it, right? Like let them assign someone else because it's a public meeting. You know, to have students in the room is important. If I don't want to, you know,
I hear you. I just really wanted to focus on those student reps that represent our board.
yeah,
I mean, anybody can attend, you're right, but I was really talking about the meeting where we're discussing policy, not so much the public meeting of policy.
I got you. I was just looking out for their schedules, and if they couldn't make it, they could, you know, just invite a classmate. It's a public meeting to attend.
Gotcha. And once I reach out to them, I'll know a definite answer. Okay, does anybody else have anything else that they want to bring? Okay.
No, I do want to say thank you so much for everything that you all are doing. Thank you to my colleagues for all of your hard work and for not hiding from me when I come and find you. But I do appreciate everything that you're doing in your partnership. It means the world to me. So thank you for your time and your effort.
Keep hazing, keep hazing. All right, good night, everybody.
Have a
And
good
thanks
night.
again for your time.
you.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Thank you all.
Good
Be
night,
safe.
everyone.